In Washington, D.C., loyalty is currency, and secrets can kill. For over a decade, Special Agent Nathan Grayson was the model of discretion. He served quietly in the U.S. Secret Service, protecting powerful men while never becoming one himself. But beneath the crisp suits and stoic calm, Nathan carried a burden, a loneliness born from the job's silence. That silence would be broken by a woman named Maria Torres, and what began as comfort would spiral into obsession, betrayal, and death. Maria Torres was a communications officer at a federal agency, a bright, magnetic woman whose charm could light up any room. Divorced at 31, she was rebuilding her life, chasing stability after heartbreak. The two met at a joint security briefing, a routine event that changed everything. Witnesses later described the chemistry as instant. Nathan, stoic, reserved, was drawn to Maria's warmth. And Maria, well, she saw in him a man who represented everything her past lovers weren't. By all accounts, theirs was an impossible romance. Nathan was married. Maria knew it. And yet, boundaries blurred faster than either could control. Their affair began quietly, secret dinners, coded texts, weekend training trips. For months, no one suspected a thing. But Washington is a city built on surveillance. Someone always knows. By late spring of 2017, rumors began circling within the agency, an agent spending too much time with a contractor from the communication division. Nathan's superior reportedly warned him, "End it, or it ends your career." Nathan promised he would. But the truth was more complicated. Maria had grown deeply attached, and dangerously insecure. Friends say Maria began checking his social media activity at night, questioning his every delay in response. She'd tell co-workers, "He's mine. He just doesn't realize it yet." The once passionate affair had turned into a psychological tug-of-war, love, secrecy, and paranoia colliding in a way neither could escape. In early September, Nathan tried to end it for good. He told Maria he was being transferred, an easy lie. But Maria knew. She confronted him outside his building in Georgetown, screaming loud enough that neighbors peeked through blinds. That night marked the beginning of the end. Because what Maria did next would make headlines across the country, and uncover secrets the Secret Service never wanted exposed, and by sunrise, one of them would be dead. At 5:42 a.m., September 8, 2017, a neighbor on P Street called 911. They're screaming, then nothing. Inside apartment 4B lay Agent Nathan Grayson, 37, one gunshot wound to the chest. His service weapon was still in its holster. Maria Torres was nowhere to be found. Her phone was discovered on the kitchen counter next to a half-finished glass of wine and a burned USB drive. Within hours, the story spread through every federal office in the city. A Secret Service agent, dead. A civilian contractor, missing. And rumors of a cover-up, already spreading like smoke. Investigators found something curious. Nathan's computer hard drive had been wiped clean just hours before his death. Security footage from the building was missing an entire 30-minute segment, from 4:50 to 5:20 a.m. Someone had tampered with evidence, someone who knew exactly how to. At 2 p.m. that same day, Maria was found at a motel off I-395, disoriented, her hands covered in blood not her own. When officers arrived, she murmured 4 words that would haunt the case forever. "They told me to." Who was they? A jealous lover? A co-conspirator within the agency? Or was Maria deflecting blame to protect someone higher up? Leaked internal emails later revealed Nathan had been investigating a possible breach inside the communications division, Maria's department. He'd told a friend he was sitting on something bigger than both of us. Was their relationship a coincidence, or a setup? During interrogation, Maria claimed Nathan had become paranoid, convinced his own agency was watching him. In her version, he pulled the gun on himself after a heated argument. But the forensics didn't match. No powder residue on his hands. Angle of the shot, downward. Someone else had fired. And that burned USB drive. Forensics later recovered fragments of encrypted files titled Directive 7. Still, the public was told a simpler story, a tragic love affair gone wrong. Case closed. No mention of Directive 7, no mention of deleted footage. Within weeks, Maria Torres was charged with second-degree murder. But something in the prosecution's timeline didn't fit. Phone records showed 2 calls from Nathan's encrypted line after his time of death. If Nathan was already dead, Who used his phone? And why did those calls go to a number traced back to a government server, now shut down? The answers would vanish in sealed documents, but one thing became clear. This was no ordinary crime of passion. This was a message, one written in blood, coded in secrecy, and buried beneath the weight of bureaucracy. After a 48-hour manhunt, Sarah Jennings was brought into custody. The once bright-eyed cheerleader sat silently as detectives laid out the evidence, camera footage, text messages, and a gun registered to her father. At first, she denied everything. But as the hours passed, her calm facade began to crack. The motive soon emerged, a toxic triangle fueled by obsession, betrayal, and teenage rage. Detectives uncovered hundreds of messages exchanged between Sarah and Coach Walker, some affectionate, others desperate. But what shocked everyone were the messages sent the night before the murder. Those words would become the prosecution's central evidence. It painted Sarah not as a heartbroken teenager, but as a calculating killer. The trial began in late spring. The courtroom was packed. Journalists, parents, and classmates filled every seat. The prosecution painted Sarah as a jealous lover driven to murder. The defense countered, arguing emotional manipulation by an older man. She knew what she was doing. She planned it, she loaded the weapon, and she pulled the trigger. Tears, outbursts, and whispers filled the room as graphic evidence was displayed. For many, it was hard to believe that the smiling cheerleader sitting before them was capable of such horror. After weeks of testimony, the jury deliberated for just 6 hours. The verdict: guilty of second-degree murder. Sarah Jennings was sentenced to 35 years in prison. Outside the courthouse, the Brookhaven community was divided. Some mourned a young life lost, others a young life destroyed. She wasn't evil. She was just broken, and no one saw it coming. The Brookhaven cheerleader murder became one of Georgia's most haunting true crime stories, an unsettling reminder of how passion, secrecy, and obsession can turn deadly. Behind every smile lies a story, and sometimes, that story ends in tragedy.